Hello students, let's start a new chapter which is thermal property of matter. Uh, from here we are going to enter in the field of temperature, heat and such types of things. Means we are going to enter in the world of sensation. Like you feel warmness and coldness. Then why you feel like that? What is heat transfer and all temperature phenomena which are uh, happening. So what is the reason around all these things? So let's see that, and let's start with me the thermal properties of matter. And first I just want to start it from the concept of heat. I think this is the first primary concept. You have to know heat, temperature and other things. So the definition of temperature I'll tell you later in the law of thermodynamics, but simple the concept is here. What is the concept of heat? I think simply what is thermal energy, thermal property. You know already that if there is any concept of temperature or sensation of warmness or coldness is anywhere, then their thermal physics or simple thermodynamics will appear there, and that will explain you all the things related to your query and your confusions and your curiosity. Okay, so firstly let's see what is the concept of heat. We can define actually heat in so many manners. So firstly, the first thing, as I have told you, this word sensation. So heat is simply nothing but it's a form of energy through which we can feel the sensation of yeah, sense of warmness and warmth. Simple means when in any body heat is transferred from one body to another, so there we feel this the like we are going to warm or cold. Means sensation of warmth is given by the heat. So you can easily define heat in terms of sensation. Also you know that in body is made up of large number of particles or molecules. Then all the molecules possesses motion in different motion of different types due to the external energy, due to heat energy, or here actually I am talking about heat energy, that is also called thermal energy. So like we provide simply external energy from outside, then we know that there are three types of motions which can be supposed to be in any system or in any body. First is translational motion, means if body moves or the motion of body along the straight line, then that types of motion is known as translational motion. Simply I think this concept is simply clear to you. Body moves in translation. Second is that if on the application of energy body starts to vibrate like this or this. So this is the concept of vibrational motion. Means if body starts to vibrate through its equilibrium position or to and fro motion around its equilibrium position, then we call the motion of the particles is vibrational motion. Third type of motion body can possess or particle can possess, that is the rotational motion. Means about any fixed axis if it starts to rotate and with certain angular speed, yeah, angular velocity, then that types of motion is known as rotational motion. Means in any system of particles or in any body three types of motions are possible, and all these three types of motion, obviously if these are the types of motion, there will be kinetic energy associated with the particles in these types of motion. So we can also define heat in terms of kinetic energy, like simply that the heat energy is the sum of the kinetic energies in all types of motions possessed by the particle. If any body is possessing or simply it's possesses translational motion, vibrational motion both, actually then in that case The heat energy will be simply the sum of kinetic energy of translational motion and kinetic energy of vibrational motion. Means simple, we can also explain it, and later I will tell you how can we explain it in kinetic energy with the formula also. But here only I just want to tell you this factor that uh, if you know the kinetic energy of the and types of motions particles, if particle is possessing, then yeah, simply sum their kinetic energy and that will gives you the heat energy. I think second concept is clear to you. Third concept is related to internal energy. As you know that every body possesses some internal energy due to its random motion or simple due to its configuration. So heat energy is a part of internal energy that is transferred to one body to another body. Like one body, there is temperature difference, means one body is cold, other body is hot. Then when they come into the contact, then we see that uh, after some time the temperature of both the bodies becomes constant. Why? Actually in this process, due to temperature difference, heat is started to transfer, it started to flow from higher temperature to lower temperature, and that process will continue until the temperature of both the body becomes same. So in this manner you can say that with the help of transfer of heat energy, body maintains its temperature at some constant value when they are placed in contact with each other. And also we can say that heat energy is a part of internal energy that is transferred from one body to another body due to their temperature difference. So I've told you four definitions depending on the different factors on which heat energy depends on, and we can define heat energy in different manners. So I think the concept of heat energy is now clear to you. Simply, if there will be temperature difference, and at that point definitely there will be some flow of heat energy or transfer of heat energy from there. We can also say that flow of thermal energy or simple thermal energy is transferred to from one body to another body. So I think there is no problem in all these things. Now let's see some units of heat. Means actually normal unit of heat, you know, the SI unit is joule, and also the practical unit is calorie. But see some other unit, and how can we define one calorie? Actually, 1 calorie is defined as the heat required to raise the temperature of 1 gram substance by 1 degree Celsius. Means if we want to raise temperature by 1 degree Celsius, then we must I've told you that if there will be some concept of temperature difference, then definitely there will be concept of heat energy. There will be flow of heat energy from one body to another body. So to raise the temperature by 1 degree Celsius, definitely we will need some heat energy, and that heat required to raise this temperature of 1 gram substance is known as simple 1 calorie. And also this 1 degree Celsius actually defined in a certain way, that 14.5 degrees Celsius to 15.5 degrees Celsius. Actually the reason is that at this temperature the specific heat of water becomes one in 1 unit. Means you can assign units from there. So that's why we for in general, for definition, for the precise definition, we take this 14.5 to 15.5. Means while tanning this temperature, means if there is change in temperature by 1 degree Celsius, means to the 15.5, then the specific heat of water becomes 1 unit. So that's why we assign this. But in general, simple, the definition of 1 calorie is that heat required to raise the temperature by 1 degree Celsius of 1 gram substance. So this is simply the I think concept of or units of heat. There are so many units other than it. I've already told you I think in each chapter, but still I'm just So I have already told you what are the units of heat. uh, SI unit of heat is joule, and CGS or practical unit is calorie. And I have already defined what is how calorie in form of heat, and simple then we can write it here, joule equal to work per unit heat energy. Okay, means simple work required to reach the temperature by 1 degree Celsius, and that is also called the heat energy. And if we will solve it, on 1 calorie is equal to 4.186 joule, means we can convert CGS into SI units by this. So simply I think units and heat, concept of heat is now clear to you. Let's see the next concept, which is concept of temperature. So what is the temperature? As simple, first I have told you that we firstly when we listen the name heat, temperature, then we start to feel, we start to sense like it warmness or coldness in that way. So temperature is also the property of, simple fundamental property of any matter, and which tells us about the warmness or coldness of any body. Means we can tell that if body is cooling, then in that case temperature is falling or decreasing, simple. And if body is boiling or simple, means there the temperature is going to increase. Means warmness and coldness can be assigned to a term which is called temperature. Actually, in next chapter later in law of thermodynamics, I'll tell you the modern concept of temperature by zeroth law of thermodynamics. So I will discuss that there, the modern concept. But normal, the classical concept of the temperature is the is in the sense in the form of the sensation of warmness or coldness. So if we can also tell it in the form of heat energy. Like I've already told you, heat energy transferred from one body to another. So if suppose that heat is transferred from body A to B, then we can say that temperature of body B is increasing and temperature of body A is decreasing. Okay, means simple, if heat is flowing from any body to another body, then definitely that body will be initially of higher temperature, so at higher temperature, and this will be initially at lower temperature. And due to the flow of heat energy, the temperature of B is increasing and temperature of A is decreasing. Means in the terms of flow of heat energy, we can also explain temperature. And also you know that temperature is also part of 7 fundamental units, fundamental base quantities as we have. And this is also the property of matter. Actually every property have some definite concept, internal matter concept, quantity, fundamental quantity, and temperature is like that. It defines the property of matter, thermal property of matter. Okay, means this is more fundamental than the heat. So actually the concept of temperature arises later than the heat. So that's why I told you here the concept of temperature later than the heat. Now I think this is simply clear to you. Again in zeroth law of thermodynamics, I will tell you why the concept of temperature is introduced later, and what is the modern concept of the temperature, simple temperature, I'll tell you later. First, next thing is that how to measure temperature, measurement of temperature simply. So as you know that for the temperature measurement we use thermometer, and the thermometer actually measures the different variation of temperature with different factors like the variation of volume of liquid with temperature, variation of volume or a simple pressure of any gas with temperature, variation of pressure liquid with temperature. So means the factor on which temperature depends the variation or variation of materials with temperature and so on, means simple thermometer can measure all these variations also. And there are so many thermometers for the measurement of temperature, like you know that mercury thermometer, uh, radiation thermometer or pyrometer, and electric resistance thermometer, and there are a lot of thermometers depending on upon our need. And also if we want to measure the variation of temperature with different factors, then for that we use different types of thermometer. Means if you want to see the variation of resistance of body with the temperature, means how the resistance of conductor or semiconductor or insulator is varying with temperature, then for that we use electrical resistance thermometer. So we use different types of thermometer according to our need for the variation. Actually, in all thermometers, the one thing is common. There must be 2 point, means two extreme points. The initial point from which we start the scale. Suppose that this is the thermometer. So there must be 2 points. One is initial from where we start the scale, and the second is that the final point to which we can extend our scale, and how columns should be there in that scale. This is all these things are size, and these 2 points actually are known as freezing point and boiling point for the particular thermometer, and this can be different for different scales. We have different scales. I'll discuss that later also. Firstly, the simple means in every thermometer there will be 2 points that will be fixed. First is freezing point and second is boiling point, and we can see the variation of temperature with different concept with the help of these freezing and boiling point. And we also assign the definite number of divisions on this scale. Like in Celsius scale, as you know that simple we can start our scale from minus 273 degrees Celsius, or also means or simple means there is 100 columns, or simple we can also extend it from 273 degree to 373 degree, or 0 degree Celsius to 100 degrees Celsius. We can easily assign all these things to it. So I think simple, it's clear to use. As you know that water freezes at 0 degrees Celsius, or boiled at start to boil at 100 degrees Celsius. So here the freezing and boiling point of water can be taken for the Celsius scale, and there will be 100 divisions on that. So for every scale actually divisions are constant, and also these 2 points are also constant, and we can also measure the variation of temperature for different factors by using these scales. So let's see the common scales which are using for the measurement of temperature. See different temperature scales through which we can measure temperature of any feed or any other body. So there are actually a lot of scales given by different scientists, in which the main scales which we use for the measurement, and then that is first is Celsius or centigrade temperature scale. This was given by the scientist Celsius, and simple I think it's other name of this scale is also centigrade. So this is given by the scientist Celsius in 1747, and he assigned the boiling and freezing point of water to for the measurement of the temperature. Means the minimum value of each scale is 0 degrees Celsius and maximum is 100 degrees Celsius. Means there are 100 columns, 100 divisions on each scale. Suppose that this is the Celsius scale, in which this is 0, this is 100 degrees Celsius, and there are equal 100 divisions on this scale. and 1 division is equal to 1 degree Celsius. So through this scale we can measure temperature from 0 degree Celsius to 100 degree Celsius easily, and where 0 degree Celsius is freezing point of water and 100 degree Celsius is boiling point of water. So this was the first scale, this was a scale given by Celsius for the measurement of temperature. We also call it centigrade temperature scale, means we can easily explain degree Celsius or degree centigrade to here unit to measure the temperature. So these are all units are temperature, degree Celsius, degree Fahrenheit, Kelvin and other. I will tell you later all these scales on any other scales. So first I think the Celsius scale is simple, clear to you. Here the minimum value of it is 0 degree and maximum 100, means freezing and boiling points are fixed, and there are number of divisions are also fixed. There are 100 equal number of divisions on this scale, and every one division is equal to 1 degree Celsius. Okay. Second scale is Fahrenheit is temperature scale. This was given by Fahrenheit in 1717, and he assigned the minimum value 32 degree Fahrenheit and maximum 212 degree Fahrenheit for his scale for the temperature measurement. Means the minimum temperature can be measured by Fahrenheit scale. Fahrenheit temperature scale is 32 degree and maximum 212 degree Celsius, and there are equal 180 divisions in on this scale, and every one division is equal to 1 degree Fahrenheit. Actually, in every temperature scale, one thing will be common. There will be 2 points. One is freezing point and second is boiling point. Means 2 extreme points, and through which we can measure maximum, minimum value, and variation of simple temperature with different factors. And also the divisions on this tells us we can easily actually measure with the help of these divisions temperature easily. So there are I told you 2 scales for the temperature measurement, like Fahrenheit we use to measure our body temperature in Fahrenheit. For liquid we use for any liquid in the body we use Celsius. If we boil any liquid, then we measure it in Celsius or in Kelvin scale. Also we can relate to temperature scales. Actually the common one standard definition of temperature scale is that every scale should be connected to each other, means they can be convertible to each other easily. If they are not convertible, then they will not be accepted. Means easy to access, easy to use, easy to convert in other units. So we can also convert these two temperature scales on each other. For this, simply we have to see this is suppose that temperature at any point in Celsius scale. So Tc minus 0 means freezing point upon number of divisions present on that scale, equal to Tf, this is temperature at any point in Fahrenheit scale, minus lowest point freezing point 32 upon number of divisions. So this is the way to convert any temperature scale with each other. So after solving this we will get this. Means by using this formula we can easily convert Fahrenheit into Celsius and centigrade and Celsius into Fahrenheit. We can also draw a graph for these two scales. Suppose at x-axis I am taking Celsius scale and at y-axis I am taking Fahrenheit scale. So at Celsius, as you know that there are 0 to 100 means 0 is freezing point and 100 is boiling point. And in case of Fahrenheit scale, actually 32 degree Fahrenheit is minimum there, so I assigned it here, and this is 212. So we can start this graph from here, 32 to this is 212. This is freezing point, this is boiling point, and temperature is increasing with simple values is increasing. So here let's see that at x-axis this is delta Tc will be 100 degrees Celsius, means 100 divisions, and at y-axis this will comes out to be delta Tf, that will be 180 degree Fahrenheit. So we can easily relate these two temperature scales with each other and we can convert them according to our use. So I think in this section you have no problem. Now let's see one standard temperature scale which is known as absolute temperature scale and given by Lord Kelvin, also known as Kelvin's temperature scale. So for the absolute measurement means if we want to measure temperature absolutely, means the minimum possible value of temperature we can measure that from that scale. So and the minimum possible value of temperature is minus 273 degrees Celsius, which can't be measured by these two scales. So we need a scale to measure the minimum value minus degree Celsius. Then for that we use simple absolute scale of temperature. For that Kelvin assign a new unit that is known as Kelvin. And let's see first how he got idea to develop a new scale of temperature. We had already two types of scales, and what was the problem for that? So that comes out by using simple equation for ideal gas. So let's see that what is the importance of absolute scale of temperature or Kelvin scale of temperature. So next scale is absolute scale of temperature or Kelvin scale of temperature. Actually Kelvin was trying to obtain pressure temperature relationship for ideal gas. So this is the equation for ideal gas PV equal to nRT, and for a fixed for a given value of volume and number of particles, T is directly proportional to T. So he plotted a graph of temperature against pressure, and he saw that at 0 degrees Celsius pressure is not 0, and he tried to even obtain the pressure at which value of temperature pressure becomes 0. Then he got that minus 273.15 degrees Celsius at this temperature pressure of the gas becomes 0. Means the minimum possible value of temperature will be minus 273.15 degrees Celsius at which pressure of ideal gas becomes 0. So with this help of this graph, he designed a new scale with the help of this point, and he called that point as absolute zero temperature. Means at this temperature pressure of any system, any fluid, any gas, any particle becomes 0. And also there are so many actually quantities which becomes 0 at this value, that vanishes at this value. Kinetic energy vanishes, velocity vanishes, and system to stop at that point. Means there are so many, actually this point has many properties, and this is also called the end of motion point. Means at this temperature body will be totally freezed, means there will be no vibration, no motions occurred in the body, and simple pressure of body becomes 0, kinetic energy of body becomes 0. So there are so many quantities assigned to this value which are 0 at this particular point, and he called this particular point absolute 0. So to maintain, to assign this value on the Celsius scale, actually Celsius scale was started from 0 degrees Celsius, and that point we got some value of velocity, kinetic energy, and pressure. So that's why he started a scale, he designed a scale from this value absolute 0 temperature. And this absolute 0 temperature, he even designed a new scale which is called Kelvin scale, and where 1 Kelvin is equal to minus 273.15 degree Celsius. He assigned this in this way. Means Kelvin scale, 0 degree Kelvin, actually you can say it. So 0 degree Kelvin value means this value. So his scale is started from 0 to 100 Kelvin, Kelvin to 100 Kelvin. There's also 100 columns, 100 divisions on this scale, and every division will be equal to 1 degree Kelvin. And if we want to convert this into Celsius scale, then we have to only in Celsius scale we have to add 273.15 in it. So I think this is simply clear to you. See, if we want to tan the simple Kelvin scale, like if we have 15 degree Celsius value, so in Kelvin scale what will be the value? So we have to add this 273.15 in it, and we will get the value in Kelvin scale for this. So we can also convert Kelvin scale into Celsius scale or in Fahrenheit scale. Means it is also interconvertible easily, and also this use the absolute zero temperature. That's why it is called absolute scale of temperature, and mostly this temperature is used to measure the temperature of any body, because it has no negative value. It is the smallest possible value of actually why I am saying that smallest possible value, because if you will go beyond this temperature, then after that temperature you will get no properties of any body, because at this temperature mostly the properties of body vanishes here. So that's why I'm saying that this is the minimum possible value, and at 0 degrees Kelvin is also the minimum possible value. So this scale starts from the minimum possible value to this value, and there are 100 divisions. So I think this scale is now clear to you why it is called absolute scale of temperature. And we can use any three of the scale for the measurement of temperature according to our need, and we can also convert them into each other. Again, the start from the same concept. As I've told you, like in Celsius scale, if at any point temperature is Tc, we have to use the minimum temperature, which is 0 degree Celsius, and division is 100. Again in Fahrenheit, minimum temperature is 32 degree Fahrenheit, and its divisions are 180. And in Kelvin scale, minimum is also 0, and there are actually not 0, minus 273.15. So I think now this is simply clear to you. How can we explain this? Because actually I am taking this in the terms of degree Celsius, so that's why we can also obtain Kelvin scale by using the Celsius scale. So that's why there will be this term minus. So this is the concept for the simple interconversion of different scales into one another. And for convenience, actually we use 273 here. Yeah, for convenience we always use it. Okay. So I think simple this is clear to you how to convert it, and for how many types of scales we have. Actually, besides all these three scales, we have also two scales: Reaumur scale, Richter scales. So actually, in this modern time, we don't use them, because these three scales are more convenient to use. So that's why we use in our daily life it. So I think temperature concept of temperature scale is now clear to you. For numerical, you can conveniently use 273 here in place of 273.5. So in next class, let's see some next thermal properties and the temperature and heat properties related to other quantity. So in next class, let's see them. So thank you guys for today.